Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Delta Airline Star Flight 2132 with non-stop service here to Atlanta, Georgia. Now, we are on a Boeing 717-200 series this morning, aircraft number November 9026 Alpha Tango. And the reason why we're going to Atlanta is because we're going to be transferring onto another 717 going down to Melbourne, Florida. Now, the reason for this is my grandmother is pretty ill, and I got a call from my father the week prior saying that I should probably come down and visit, and I thought that would be a good idea. And so since the rest of my family was going to be down there, I decided why not. And so I got permission from my supervisor and all my operations managers and got a flight down there immediately. Now, we're departing from Tulsa, Oklahoma this morning at approximately 6:05 a.m. right on time. Even though we had a little issue at the gate due to computer malfunction, but got that settled in the way. As you can see the information here, we're on flight 2132 16, which is today's date, as we are departing on September 16th going to Atlanta. And our ship number today is 90517. We're on a 20-year-old aircraft. Date of manufacture is September 24th, and this morning we'll be departing from runway 36 right as we are bound for Atlanta, Georgia. Now, the flight was pretty overall smooth, about an hour and a half flight. We're only going up to 31,000 feet, and our highest recorded speed will be 484 nautical miles, or sorry, knots. Excuse me for that. And this is my first time ever on a Boeing 717 series or an XDC-9. So I'll go ahead and talk to you guys later about the details of the flight and more about my family and the whole purpose of everything. So until then, enjoy the takeoff.
unfortunately this is during the flight. So we just ask you to sit back, relax, and enjoy our Tulsa hospitality and welcome aboard.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to 31,000 feet in the air as we are halfway through our flight going to Atlanta, Georgia, which is Alpha Tango Lima, which is a 3-letter IATA code on this Boeing 717. So far my review on the Boeing 717 as I sit in seat 13 Echo, which is right behind Economy Plus. So far my reviews on the 717 are pretty positive. I definitely love the thrust. I definitely love the seats. The configuration can change a little bit. I don't know why the aircraft is in a 2-3 configuration personally, even though I do service these aircrafts here in Tulsa for DGS. But the sunrise is definitely beautiful as we depart from Tulsa. Now, the cloud power that you're looking at here in this video, that's actually the hurricane. I forgot which hurricane that was exactly, back on September 16th of 2020, but it was that hurricane that was coming up through the coast, going through Atlanta on that day. But you can see here where the cloud is kind of looks like a huge thunderhead almost, but this pretty much stretches for hundreds of miles. The captain did come on the intercom and say we will be passing the hurricane, which would be on the right side, as I was sitting on row 13E. Or Echo, watching the hurricane as we pass through. It's going to be, it got a little bumpy here as we were passing through, but definitely an eerie but interesting sight as we begin our descent now into Atlanta on this 20-year-old Boeing 717 aircraft. Like I said, my review for the aircraft is pretty positive, and not only will I be flying this one as my first one, but I'll be flying another one going to Daytona Beach, Melbourne, Florida, and then taking 2 717s back. And there's a little story behind why I keep switching between Melbourne and Daytona, but on the next flight here after we land in Atlanta, when we do our little layover, I'll go ahead and tell you guys what the entire plan is, the itinerary, and basically what happened and why I switch aircrafts, flights, etc. Especially those who are non-rev passengers or have worked for the airline industry or currently are working for the airline industry or is about to or is curious what standby, non-revenue, all these terms mean. I'll explain it here in the next few clips as we do our layover here in Atlanta. Until then, go ahead and enjoy our descent here as we go through Atlanta. We're surfing through these clouds pretty much, and we'll get back to you on the ground. upon arrival into Atlanta, Georgia's Hartsfield-Jackson International, we were chasing this Airbus A320 that was coming in on runway 10 left it looked like, and we were arriving on runway 9 right into Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson's airport. Now, this is the first time I've ever been to Atlanta, and must I say, my first impressions of Atlanta were very, very positive. I mean, the airport itself was just huge, with about 6 to 7 different terminals all lined up, and you can access each one of them by the Aero train that's down below, or Atlanta's little subway, just like Washington Dulles' subway or Aero train that you've seen in my previous videos at Washington Dulles International, back when I used to film a lot of stuff at Washington Dulles. Now, the landing was a little bit rough, like I said, due to the hurricane chasing us pretty much the entire way, as the remainder of our trip down to Florida would be just as smooth. But as we come into Florida, you'll see all the different kinds of storms and variations of the afternoon typical pour down that occurs in Florida, as you'll see that once again when we arrive in Florida. Now, there's a little situation that happened when I was transferring flights. I will explain that prior to our next takeoff as we taxi down to the runway for takeoff as we head down to Melbourne, Florida.
Satisfaction is also important to us. So in the next several days, you may receive an email survey from Delta. We value your feedback and use your responses to continually improve your travel experience. We invite you to download and use the Fly Delta app for all of your future travel needs, including checking in for a flight and managing your SkyMiles account. On behalf of Delta, thank you again for sharing your journey with us this morning. We certainly enjoyed having you on board, and we look forward to the opportunity to serve you again. Have a great day, everyone.
like I said prior to our arrival, when we were pacing that Airbus A320 for landing, this is my first time ever at Atlanta, Georgia's Jackson Hartsfield International Airport. And now that I work for Delta Airlines, or at least a contractor of Delta Airlines in Tulsa, looking at my fleet size, I was amazingly impressed with what is part of our fleet, consisting of Airbus A330s, A330-900 Neos, as well as all kinds of different 737 types. As you can see, one of very few of its 737-700s, as well as the new A350-900, and unfortunately do not have this aircraft anymore as of the beginning of November, but the 777s, or Boeing 777-200 series for Delta Airlines. But we do have some other unique aircrafts, like we have new Airbus A321 Neos coming in. A320 Neos are a 50-50 for Delta to buy right now. But two types of aircrafts that we do have are A220s. We have the new A220 100 series and the 300 series, which just released here to Delta Airlines approximately 1 month ago. And that aircraft that you see on the right of the screen that we're just past, that was one of Delta's A330-900 Neos that you see. Now, we also do consist of regional jets as well, like the CRJ 700s, 700s, 900s, 200s, and then we have Embraer 170 and 175 aircrafts for our Delta connections, as well as the original and classic Boeing 717s, XDC-9, 30 aircrafts, as well as 737s. We do have a lot of 757, 200, 300 aircrafts, as well as Boeing 767-300 and a lot of 767-400 series aircraft. Now, in this video, as we are passing almost all the terminal, because this is my first impression here of Atlanta's Hartsfield Jackson International, you get to see all the different types of aircraft here that you see that are parked at the gate. And our gate for arrival will be Bravo 12 at the B terminal. And here on the left side, you see a couple 767s, as well as A321s. There's an A321 right there. Right next to it was a Boeing 757. There is a Boeing 737-900ER, as you can see. Between the window exits and the last exits, or sorry, the over-the-wing exit and the tail exit, you can see like a little extra paneled door. That's how you can identify a 737-900, and they're taxiing right across the aircraft we are flying in, which is the Boeing 717-200 series. And here I zoom in on the status board, because when I worked for United, our status boards were different, but I like the way Delta's boards were laid out, and so that's why I kind of zoomed in on that a little bit as we park here into Bravo 12. Now, my connection is very, very tight, so I did not get to film much of the connection at all. As a matter of fact, I barely filmed any of it as we come into Bravo 12, right next to this 737. I believe it is a 800 series. Yes, it's an 800 series aircraft. Again, as we come into Bravo 12. I did film the air train coming in, though, but I didn't get to film anything else. But I did fly into Atlanta again, and I will have a better video and explain more about ramp operations, because that's what I've been dying to do. As you can see, our hardworking and brave ramp agents about to service our flight here as we arrive into Atlanta. And yes, Atlanta, Georgia is Delta Airlines' major hub, as well as their headquarters. And here is the aero train for Atlanta, and now we're on our next aircraft. Yes, it started to rain a little bit, so this aircraft that we are on, the flight that we are on is Delta Airlines flight 1123 with nonstop service to Daytona Beach, Florida. Now, originally we were supposed to fly into Melbourne, Florida, and this is where I was going to explain to you about non-revenue or standby customers, or authorized crew, as well as employees. Now, for employees such as myself, we do have flight benefits. Now, this is how flight benefits work. Of course, we don't pay much for our flights, or little do we pay to none at all. And so, therefore, we use what's called non-revenue, which means, when you're a revenue customer, right, you are paying for a flight. When you are a non-revenue, you are getting a major discount, or a no pay at all for your seat, and we are standing by for available seats. Now, my flight to Melbourne, there are no more available seats, and I was stuck in Atlanta, and I couldn't get a flight anywhere besides Daytona. So Daytona had seats available for me to use, and so I booked that one. So now we're on Boeing 717 2BD aircraft number 9026 Alpha Tango, and we are departing off of Bravo 17, and the runway we'll be departing on is runway 9 left. And we don't go very high today in the clouds at all, so we're only going up to 30,000 feet, and our highest sustained speed is 434 knots, which is our ground speed, as we're landing at runway 9 left. Now, it is told that Atlanta Jackson Hartsfield International Airport is the world's busiest airport. And it's definitely the United States' busiest airport, but it may also be the world's busiest. If not, then it might be Heathrow in London, England. That would be the busiest. But for right now, Atlanta, just because Atlanta is so huge with its terminals and all the different airlines served, that is absolutely busy itself. So I'm not going to say any more, and I'm going to let you guys enjoy yet another takeoff on a fantastic Boeing 760s. I'm sorry, Boeing 717. Man, this is not a good morning already, as you can tell.
initial descent into the Daytona Beach area. We anticipate having you on the ground here in about 25 minutes, so we'll call that about 35 past the hour. To the gate shortly thereafter. Should be an early arrival at gate 6. Weather's cloudy skies, about 85 degrees outside. If you're up and about, we're going to get that seatbelt sign back on. I'd ask you to kindly return to your seat, keep that seatbelt fastened for the short duration of our flight. Also, I'd ask the flight attendants to please prepare the cabin for arrival. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been our pleasure serving you today as we prepare for our landing. Please ensure your seatbelt is fastened, seat backs and tray tables in their upright locked position, and aisle armrests lowered. Please ensure your larger devices, such as laptops, are stowed at this time in a bag underneath the seat in front of you. They may not be stowed in the seat pockets. You may continue to use your mobile devices as long as they are properly secured. Finally, please check your exit seat for any remaining cups, glasses, or any other items you'd like to discard and pass them to the flight attendants as we come through the cabin. The captain has requested that we take our seats for the remainder of our flight. We'll be landing shortly.
So far, my favorite feature of the Boeing 717 is the engines, because they are just so in tune with each other. And I definitely love that when the air is cut off because of the engines spooling up with the combustion chamber, trying to catch up with the fan blades and with the thruster produce itself. You can hear that choke of air that's being pushed through the cabin, or the air packs, or the air conditioning. Just stop for a brief second as the throttle quadrants are accelerated a bit, or the throttle's opening up or giving maximum power. And I definitely love that startup of the Boeing 717 as well, when they go to 50% and then they go to max total power on the 717. So here I am sitting in row, I believe it's 19A. We're in the exit row of the Boeing 717 because they tried to put a child in the exit row and they could not, so I volunteered to switch seats. I was in economy plus, but then I downgraded myself to the exit row again due to the child in the exit row that could not be there, and so I decided to offer my part and did what I can as an employee. So those of you who are airline employees that are serving all these airlines and doing all they can, I want to personally thank you guys for your service and keeping everybody moving, keeping the world turning, as well as other essential employees doing their work during COVID-19. Now, this view right here is a beautiful thunderhead. It's a huge thunderstorm that's just forming off the coast of Florida as we're about to fly right next to it. Usually when you see clouds like that, it typically means turbulence, but because we're so far away, I believe that storm was about 30 miles to our north as we're going from Atlanta down to Daytona Beach, Florida. We didn't experience rough air at all, as you can tell. We're flying pretty smooth, but as we arrive into Daytona Beach, you'll notice that we hit a few bumps here and there, and I did get the whole entire landing on video. Now, this will also be my first time in Daytona Beach, Florida, and I gotta say it's a pretty unique airport. Very small, approximately like 8 gates total, so not as bad. Definitely bigger than Tulsa, where I work in Tulsa. We have about 22 gates. We now are beginning our descent because we're about to go through the clouds to arrive in Daytona Beach. The flight was not bad at all. It was about a 45-minute flight from Atlanta to Daytona, and so but it was a pretty unique flight. Unfortunately, I didn't have any earbuds or headphones with me, so I couldn't enjoy anything on my phone. So I just stared out the window pretty much the entire time as we go from cloud to cloud and just cruise around, only at again 30,000 feet, and we get to experience much of the speed at all. So I'm not going to say anything else more, and I'm going to let you guys enjoy the arrival.
fasten and your carry-on items stowed. Until the aircraft is parked at the gate, the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign. Please be careful when opening the overhead vents to avoid injury from items that may have shifted during flight. Feel free to use your mobile devices. Your safety remains Delta's top priority. Each of flight today, we are asking everyone to help us out by allowing extra space between yourself and other customers. Please remain seated until the customer is seated in front of you. Have retrieved their items and begin moving towards the boarding door. Once the row in front of you is 6 feet away, you may retrieve your items at the plane. We do appreciate your understanding and assistance. Before leaving the aircraft, take a quick look around your seat. Make sure you have everything you brought on board. Your satisfaction is also important to us. In the next several days, you may receive an email survey from Delta. We value your feedback and we use your responses to continually improve your travel experience. We invite you to download and use the Fly Delta app for all your future travel needs, including checking in for a flight and managing your SkyMiles account. On behalf of Delta, thank you again for sharing your journey with us. We've enjoyed having you on board. Can't wait to have you back. Have a wonderful day.
Upon arrival into Daytona Beach, Florida, I was not expecting to see one of Daytona Beach's Nascar tracks here in Daytona at all, which caught me by surprise, especially with the checkered flag stadium. Now, this whole terminal is Daytona Beach. Like I said, it's only about 8 gates, 3 on one side, 2 on the side of the building, as you can see, and then I believe it's a couple more on the other side as well. But for my time being, I went to go see my grandmother down in Sebastian, Florida, as my father has picked me up from the airport, and we spent a couple days together, and went to go take care of my grandma as much as I could, and who unfortunately did pass away. Actually, this past, probably about a week and a half later, is when I got the news that she unfortunately passed away. But she passed away peacefully in her sleep, and may she rest in peace. And I'll have a little tribute at the end of the video here, at least. But while I was down there, like I said, I got to see all my friends, got to see my family, and just kind of hung out with everybody. I was down there for about 1 week, as I got a couple clips here of what I pretty much did over the weekend, or the week that I was here. And so we went down to eat some lunch, and we went to this cool place. It's called what was the name of it? Captain something. I can't remember the name of it at the top of my head, but there's a whole bunch of catfish that are below us. Just went and get some bread. We saw a whole bunch of catfish, and then once in a while you see a couple of large snooks. Usually they'll eat the catfish, but because the catfish are too big in size and too big in groups, the snooks pretty much just stay underneath the pier, and they don't really come out and do much. So they'll swim out a little bit, but not as much. You see all the catfish going crazy there, so we're throwing some extra bread at them, pretty much fighting for all kinds of goodies that we throw them, as you can see. And then when I went to go see my friend, as I drove back to Daytona Beach, about 100 miles or so, we went fishing for a little bit. We did all kinds of stuff. We surfed, and we just hung out, as you can see here. And once in a while you see a couple of dolphins that will actually jump out of the water here. I may have caught them on video, I'm not exactly sure. You have to keep an eye out in this clip for some dolphins. And then after this clip, I'll go and explain our... Oh, there's one. I'll go and explain our flights on the way back. As you can see, all the dolphins jumping here in Daytona Beach in the little inlet that we were fishing out of. We didn't catch much. We caught a couple puffer fish. If y'all remember G-Man's boss, that's who I was spending a couple days with after I went to go see my family, including my dad and my grandma. Went back up to Daytona Beach and spent a couple extra days with my buddy George, and did all kinds of stuff. And now we're back on another Boeing 717 as we are departing Daytona Beach. This will be the 19th of November as we're on aircraft November 894 Alpha Tango, as we're getting ready to push back from Daytona Beach, Florida. Again, we only flew at 30,000 feet, but our highest speed as we're on the way back was 474 knots. Now, for the departure, I'm not going to say anything as much because of where I was sitting, which was 21A, another exit row that I was sitting part of. But as I'm closer to the engines, you can hear everything spool up exactly as I was explaining when we were departing Atlanta, even though I did not explain it in a good way, and I apologize for that. But I guarantee to all of you, this will all be worth it. So I'm going to let our stars taxi down the runway because this airport is so small and they're doing some work on the taxiway itself that there's not much to film besides us going up and down the runway. This will be my first runway 360 maneuver, which means we are taxiing on the runway, as you'll see here in a minute, as we went to the end of the runway and did a huge 360. This will be my first time I've got an aircraft doing that. We depart from gate 6. We'll be departing on runway 7 right, and then again our cruising altitude will be only 30,000 feet. Right now we're flying through just a miniature afternoon rain shower, not really big or anything like that, not a huge turbulent shaker, but definitely did do a couple of bumps here and there, but other than that was pretty much a good flight. So I'll let you guys enjoy the takeoff here, and you'll see what I mean as soon as we do our 360. So as you can see, we're on the runway right now, and we're going to continue all the way down the runway, do a quick, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say 360, I meant a 180-degree maneuver, and then we'll be taking off here very, very shortly as we're doing our high-speed taxi right now. Enjoy the takeoff. And let me be the first to welcome you back to the skies on flight number 1211 with service to, 2586 with service to Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson International from Daytona Beach, Florida, as we depart on runway 7 right on this Boeing 717 2B series 834 Alpha Tango. The ship number is 90554, and this aircraft is approximately 16 years old, as it was manufactured on the 26th of September in 2004. So again, this aircraft is approximately 16 years old. Not a bad configuration at all. It's a 12 first class seats, 20 Comfort Plus, and 78 regular seats. However, due to COVID-19, everything except for Comfort Plus is cut in half to maximize social distancing for everybody and the safety of all the customers around. So, with this flight, it's a quick hour flight, maybe a little less than that, as we continue all the way down to Atlanta. So this is Boeing 717, number 3 that I've ever flown on. And so, when we go do another transfer at Atlanta to go back to Tulsa, that will be aircraft number 4. And here soon I'll give more details about the flight itself. So again, we depart at gate 6, and we depart from runway 7 right. Now, when we arrive, we'll be arriving on runway 10, and our arrival gate will be A as in Alpha 18. Now, what was good about all these transfers is that all the gates were right next to one another, so I was easily able to jump from one gate to another. But due to my layover time, I had plenty of time to go whatever, so I went to McDonald's and kind of explored Atlanta a little bit more, and just did some more discovery as we were waiting for our next flight. And so, therefore, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the rest of the flight here. Now, I didn't do much seat review because I didn't have much time to do a seat review, nor I was in a good place to do one. But I will do one in another future video, especially on the Boeing 717s. Pretty much the only difference between regular economy and Comfort Plus is your leg room. But the comforts of the seats are pretty much the same. The tray tables are the same. For the exit rows, the tray tables are folded in the armrest, as well as first class, where the tray tables are also folded in the armrest. And this goes for most Delta aircraft, but this is mainly for the 717s. Now, for the 717s, they're in a 2-3 configurations, except for first class. The first class are in a 2-2 configuration, and Comfort Plus and Economy are in a 2-3 configurations. Now, what I mean by configurations is how the seat is arranged. One side of the aircraft have 2 seats in a row, and the other side will have 3 seats in one row. This is not a normal circumstance, especially for the most airliners, but for the DC-9 and the 717 and the Mad Dog series, this is how it is. And being that the 717 is the last of the working American Mad Dog series, and the last type of DC-9s, it's a pretty unique aircraft. Get them while you can, because Delta's going to retire these aircrafts here in the next 5 years. It was officially announced on Delta Airlines websites, because the 777s, due to COVID-19 and a lack of ridership for international travel, have been retired early. And I'm very sad to say so, because the 777s are my absolute favorite aircraft, and I've never flown on one yet, as I will soon. So the only places I can really fly 777 is United Airlines and American. There's not really much airlines in America that I can do cross-country trips. However, for Delta, I can still fly some wide bodies like A350s, A330-900 Neos, A330s Generals, 767s, 75s, etc. So I still have my options around, but I just gotta choose carefully, as we'll be arriving on runway 10 here in Atlanta, Jackson Hartsfield's airports, and we'll be arriving at A18. And yet I have another fantastic landing video for you, as well as some stunning footage as we taxi by some other type of aircraft as we are landing and parking to our gate, including a cargo Lux Boeing 747. So with that being said, enjoy the taxis and definitely enjoy the landing, especially since it was a smooth one, as you can see the 40Cs off the wingtips here.
local time at 6:02 p.m. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and carry-on items stowed until the aircraft is parked at the gate and the captain starts the seatbelt sign. Please be careful when opening overhead bins and avoid injuries from items transmitted during flight. You may not use your mobile devices at this time. Your safety remains Delta's top priority. After the plane today, we are asking everyone to help us out by allowing extra space between yourself and other customers. Please remain seated until the customer seat in front of you have retrieved their items and begin moving toward the boarding door. Once again, please remain seated until the customer seated in front of you have retrieved their items and begin moving toward the boarding door. Once the row in front of you is 6 feet ahead, you may retrieve your items in the plane as well. We appreciate your understanding and assistance. Before leaving the aircraft, please quick look around your seat and make sure you have everything you brought on board. Your satisfaction is important to us, and the next eliminated you may receive an email survey from Delta asking you to rate your travel experience. Please value your feedback to reduce your responses to continually improve. We do invite you to download and use our Fly Delta app for all your future travel needs, including checking in for a flight and managing the time-out account. On behalf of Delta and the Atlanta-based crew, thank you again for sharing your journey with us. We enjoy having you on board and can't wait to have you back soon. Have a very pleasant evening.
In major hubs or major cities like Atlanta itself, you get all kinds of crazy traffic that you just seen here in the video, and you're going to see more here very soon. just like that 747 that we just passed, as well as some other cargo type that are in here at Atlanta, as well as our Airbus A350-900 that was just taking off on the runway as we were waiting for them to pass. And then you can see how close we all are to each other. I guess it's about to be rush hour. Makes sense because it's almost 4 o'clock here in Atlanta. We're still Eastern Standard Time before we go into Central Time as we go back to Tulsa. Now our next aircraft will be again a Boeing 717. This will be another 2BD series, and I'll explain more about that as we get on our next aircraft. When we get on our next aircraft, it will be nighttime already, but I'll go let you know that I got a seat assignment of 13A, and this will be my first time in Comfort Plus, sitting for Delta Airlines, and I'll do a whole review on that here very soon. As I was flying Comfort Plus on Delta Airlines, in a future video that I'll have for you in store, I'll do more thorough review, especially on the outlets, the features, and etc., and how to check all your boarding passes for Delta Airlines. As we pass a 757-300 and CRJ-200, as well as a 737 taking off far, as you can see in front of us, as well as a 737-900 chasing. So like I said, in all one clip, you see about 4, maybe 5 aircraft. So Atlanta is pretty busy, and I will give my hands down to Atlanta, Georgia for being the world's busiest airport, as we yet pass another aircraft, apparently that just cut off a CRJ-200, as we park at gate Alpha 18. Now our next aircraft will depart on Alpha 4, which is not really far at all, as we're coming into the gates now. And welcome aboard to our final flight as we're now on our way to Tulsa, Oklahoma. KTUL is the IATA 4 code, or TUL is the regular 3-digit IATA code itself. Again, we're on aircraft Boeing 717 number 918 Alpha Tango. We're departing from Alpha 4 and we're planning on runway 18 left this evening, as another aircraft is about to go around us as we're playing do-si-do here in our double taxiway. As we just parted again from Alpha 4, and we're bound for runway 18 left. It is rush hour here in Atlanta, so it's going to be a little bit, so you're going to see all kinds of good action as we depart from Atlanta. As you're seeing right now, as a Boeing 737 passes us, I believe to our north. It's a 800 series, as you can tell, because there's no extra door between the over-the-wing exits and the tail exit itself. We pass other types of aircrafts like this Airbus A220 XLR and this other Boeing 717, the one we actually just got off of as well. We will pass another 717 here as well. Now we're passing all kinds of different aircrafts, like you're seeing another 737, but it's a 900ER, and it's got the scimitar wings, which indicates to me that is a next-gen 737 type. Now our aircraft again is November 981 Alpha Tango. 981 Tango, which is ship number 9548, against type 737, and this aircraft was manufactured on October 23rd, 2002, so this aircraft is 18 years old. And I didn't explain what engine types that these aircrafts have. This is a BR 700 715 C1-30 series engines. I forgot what BR stands for. If I can find it, a link will be in the description down below for BR, as well as other information regarding the 717s, as well as we're about to again pass another Boeing 717, which is the same type of aircraft that we are. As a matter of fact, that might be our exact same aircraft we just flew in on from Daytona Beach. I'm not exactly too sure, but those of you who've never heard or seen a Boeing 717, that is what it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, right next, and is one of the last iconic of the DC-9 and Mad Dog series in the world. The only airlines that do have them is a couple airlines in Africa, as well as Hawaiian Airlines, and these are the only type of aircraft that they have. Now, most of these 717s were owned by AirTran, and so because AirTran no longer exists and were bought out by Southwest Airlines, the 717s were sold off because Southwest wanted to keep the brands for the 737s. They gave them away, and so Delta has taken most of the Boeing 717s. As a matter of fact, I can count to you how many 717s there are exactly, and there are approximately 91 aircraft in service for the Boeing 717. Now, I'll go ahead and read off the list of what Delta has for a fleet. We have the Boeing 767-300, the 767-400. We no longer have the 777s, they are gone. We have the Airbus A330-200 series, which I believe they are gone as well. We have the Airbus A330-300 series, the Airbus A330-900 Neos, and the A350-900. Those are your transoceanic aircraft type, or wide bodies. Now for your narrow bodies and domestic, we have the Boeing 717s, the 737-700, 800, and 900 ER series. You also have the Boeing 757-200 and 300 series, and you have the brand new Airbus A220-100 and the A220-300 series as the first 5 are in service for the 300 series. We still have our Airbus A319-100 series rolling around, as well as our Airbus A320-200 series. We also have our Airbus A321-200 next gens, and we have our brand new Airbus A321 XLRs, which are in order right now, about 100. And for our regional mainliners, we have our CRJ 100s, which I have no idea why they still exist. We have our 200s, as you see in this video, and we also have our CRJ 700s and our 900s, as well as Embraer 170 and 175s. And those are your different aircraft types as we're passing more of our aircraft as we're departing and taxiing all the way to runway 8 right, which will be our departure as we leave for Atlanta, Hartsfield, Jackson, and I'd like to let you guys enjoy our little takeoff as we take a look at Atlanta one last time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that flying at night, especially when you're trying to record out the window, is not as easy as it seems. I only record a couple of scenes here and there. Definitely trying to do a seat review at night was definitely not a good idea, as I tried earlier and did not do well. But we're sitting in Comfort Plus seat number 13E. I don't know why I said 13A by mistake. My apologies. It is 13E is where I'm sitting as we are on our way to Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're already halfway there. I believe we're flying over Memphis, Tennessee, which will indicate our halfway point as we go up to 36,000 feet. Our highest sustained speed is 430 knots. We're playing for Alpha 4 as we always do, and that's how it works here in Tulsa. As our mainline aircraft from Atlanta arrive on Alpha 4, and for our Salt Lake City Embraer 175 aircraft for SkyWest or any other SkyWest aircraft, they arrive at Alpha 6. And so again, we're at 36,000 feet, and our highest sustained speed was 430 knots. We had some heavy wind coming in, so unfortunately did slow down our ground speed. But otherwise, the flight was really, really smooth. I enjoyed flying on our Boeing 717s, especially since this is the first time I've ever flown. The fact that I got to fly 4 of them was pretty awesome. The fact that I got to discover 2 brand new airports. Atlanta was definitely amazing. What I love about Atlanta is there's so much stuff in the airport itself, as well as around it. Apparently there's a Delta Airlines museum that I've yet to discover, as well as all kinds of food choices and different kinds of shops in Atlanta that you can discover for yourself. As well as plane spotting in Atlanta is definitely a high topic list. What's cool about the 717s, personally I had an incident with these, is the landing lights. As you can see, the landing lights are on the wingtips, because there's no room to put the landing lights on the wings itself due to where the slats, which is the part of the wing that folds down to help slow down and maintain aircraft speed. There's no room to put any headlamps, so they put them under the wing, and the wing lights actually fold out and turn into landing lights, as you can see the little ray beam at the end of the wing. Now, an incident I have with them, because I do work these aircrafts here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, is that if the pilots are going to test the lights, sometimes they do not tell you or warn you that they're going to be testing all kinds of aircraft functions. So as I was inspecting the wingtip, looking at the navigation lights to make sure the balls were working, I did not notice that the landing lights were being retracted, and I turned the other way and it bumped right into it by accident. Nonetheless, I look up at it to see what bumped me, and I noticed that the landing light was extracted, or it came out of its socket on commando. And then they blinded me, so not only did the landing light hit me in the head, but also blinded me at the same time. I've had these instances with 737s, because the 73s have the retractable lights as well, but they're located under the fuselage, so if you're trying to hook up any air to the aircraft, they will come out and at you sometimes, and they can hurt at some points. And yes, I've been hurt by one of those on a 737 about 8 years ago. As well as the Airbuses, they all have them. They are under the fuselage. Actually, they're under the wingtips, technically right next to the fuselage. But because the aircraft for the Airbus sits so high, you have to worry about them hitting your head. So we're now arriving in Tulsa. We are now arriving on runway 18 left. Again, our gate will be Alpha 4. So in the meantime, I'd like to thank you guys for joining us along our flying adventure, going from Tulsa, Oklahoma via Atlanta to Daytona Beach, and then Daytona Beach to Atlanta, back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, on not only 1, but 2 and 3 and 4 Boeing 717 series aircraft, which are the first time I've ever flown on them, and my reviews for them are about 90% positive. The only 10% I don't like is just the seat configurations and that they're showing their age. Again, these aircrafts are set to retire in the next 5 years, according to Delta Airlines officials, and so those who are planning to fly them very, very soon, I highly recommend you fly them as soon as possible, in case they plan for early retirement due to COVID-19, like my favorite Boeing 777-200 series that just retired from Delta unexpectedly, as they were supposed to retire at the same time as Boeing 717s, but again, due to COVID and lack of ridership for international countries, they ceased operations on the 777-200s, which is a stupid move in my opinion, but I have not much to say about that, because there's not much I can say, because it is part of the operational needs. Those of you who are my brothers and sisters who work in the airlines operations era understand exactly what I mean. Well, until next time, I will have another video for you guys soon for flying, and this time I will do a thorough seat review. Until next time, this is Tranks Productions. Thank you so much for joining me. Also, check out our Toga Brothers page as soon as you can. Link will be in the description down below as provided. If you guys have any more questions about the Boeing 717s or any other items about airlines in general, any questions about job openings, or just anything in general that you guys would like to know off of my part and my experience, I'm so happy to answer those questions for you. Just leave a comment down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Until next time, enjoy the landing on runway 18 left as we arrive into Alpha 4 here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is now where I work and where I now live. Thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe. I will subscribe back. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see you guys.
satisfaction remains Delta's top priority. As we displayed today, we're asking everyone to help us out by allowing extra space between yourself and the other customer On behalf of Delta, thanks again for sharing your journey with us. We enjoyed having you on board, and we still look forward to the opportunity